Hey guys, welcome back to Conscious Evolution. I'm your host, Alan. Thanks for joining me today. Before I start the video, I wanted to give a quick shout out to Mr. Ken Coffee. He has created his own YouTube channel about healing. I think it's called the Healing Nexus. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but I'll link that below. I've been having a challenging time. No, I don't want to say challenging. It's been it's really been a week of self-reflection for me. Really diving into the emotions and why I'm experiencing those emotions. If you're experiencing any quote unquote negative emotions, you're experiencing that feeling, that negative feeling, because that feeling doesn't align with your inner self, with your it just doesn't align with your inner self, who's always with you, who knows you, knows your true morals. It doesn't align with your inner guidance. That's why it doesn't feel good. That's why it's a negative. That's the charge that we put on it. Everything's universally neutral. But when you feel good, like me talking about this right now, I feel really good because that's in alignment with my inner self. And that's what I've been doing a lot lately is balancing and getting in alignment with my true self, my true passions, and a relationship I have with somebody is what's caused a lot of these things to come up, because everyone in your life is a mirror. And I think the more you talk to that person, the more time you spend with that person, the more deep issues get reflected back to you. And it's really a lot on how you handle that, because you could really just walk away from it and not deal with it, because that's what I've done my entire life. If something it was ever challenging, I just turned and walked away because I didn't want to deal with it. I just really didn't. That's how I handled myself. And I was always running away from my emotions. Butterfly, two of them. I was always running away from my emotions, and I no longer am accepting that. I'm no longer running from anything. I'm standing and I'm facing it, and I'm diving into that, and I'm dealing with it. And I'm really learning a lot about the law of attraction in the process, because if you start thinking on those negative thoughts, and you can create momentum in that negative thought, and it can just snowball out of effect, or just snowball into this big you just have massive momentum in that direction. And that's what I was doing. I was really doubting myself and blaming myself that I was the problem, that it's something that I did that that is causing this issue in my relationship with this person. And I think that's an old way of looking at it, because ultimately I'm just reflecting the energy that they're giving me, and they're reflecting the energy that I'm giving them. And it's not personal, it's just energy. It's only energy. It's not personal. But I am the type of person now that I want to talk about these things. I want to get it out in the open. And I realize that can be quite intense for a lot of people. And a lot of people really aren't ready or willing or capable of doing that. It's against the norm, I guess you could say, for people to express their emotions, especially men, because men don't talk about their emotions. They're taught to not talk about their emotions, that men don't cry, that you got to be, tough and strong and suck that shit up, suck it up, buttercup. I mean, essentially that's how men are brought up. You start talking about your feelings and shit, and other men are like, this dude's a little feminine, like I don't know about him. Like, fuck that. That's the old energy shit. You know what I mean? Like, no, this is the day where we talk about our feelings, where we embrace our true selves, our inner selves, and keep that alignment with our inner self, and not worry about what other people think and what other people are judging you for. Because honestly, what other people think of you is none of your business. It's not, And if someone can't love you for you just the way you are, if they want you to change, then that's really not in alignment either. Because you'll change when you're ready to change. Now, if you want to be a better person, like what I think a good healthy relationship is when you're talking to somebody and they make you want to strive to be a better person, where they empower you, make you feel good about yourself, and you do the same for them. You empower them, encouraging words, you make them feel good about themselves. Don't make them feel like, especially when they're expressing emotions to you, don't make them feel like that's not okay, because it is okay. I'm learning a lot in these relationships and this new energy with the people I have. And I'm finding that, well, what I was doing was thinking that maybe it's me. Maybe I'm too intense. Well, I don't think so. I think this is who I am. And I'm ready and willing and I'm going to talk about my feelings. Because I've spent my whole life in relationships to where I was afraid to talk about my feelings for fear of being judged. I don't have that fear anymore. And now I want to be transparent. I want to be open, and I want to have an open line of communication with people. So you know where I stand and I know where you stand. I'm learning a lot, like I said. And I think most people and most relationships have, the majority of the issues come from a lack of communication. From you not being 100% clear about what you're trying to do and your intentions. If you talk to somebody and you just want to vent and you don't really want to hear what they have to say about it, you don't want to hear anything, preface that before you start talking. Like, listen, I'm just frustrated and I need to get this out. I don't want you to comment on it. And then you say it, Be a conscious thinker. Everything you do should be on purpose. Everything I say is on purpose. I am consciously creating my reality, which takes me to my next point. You must always take responsibility for everything that comes into your reality, because you and only you are responsible for creating your reality. And the people around you are just mirroring you, your energy, which is crazy. And also, with the law of attraction, it's like if you're experiencing something negative, don't be specific about it. Don't talk about it specifically, just generalize it. Don't feed too much energy to it, because your focus goes, or energy flows the way your focus goes. So if you keep feeding energy to these negative things, if you're getting into the specifics, you're going to create that momentum of negative energy, or what you perceive to be negative energy is going to go and continue feeding that, and the universe is going to reflect more of that back to you. I feel like that's what I've been doing. I've been diving so deep into these issues, and I've been analyzing and going through and questioning and doubting myself and the other person, and it's like, why? All the while, this is taking me out of the vortex. All of it. It's taking me out of the vortex, and that's where I thrive. That's where we all thrive. That's where we live in a love and heart space. Is be in the vortex. And the second I shifted back to being in the to being and staying in the vortex, everything changed. My energy changed. My mood, my general day changed. My interactions with people changed. Everything got better. I immediately started feeling my guides or my higher selves or whatever you want to call them, insert term here. You know, I immediately started feeling that energy, and I could feel them every time I did something that was in alignment with my true self, with my inner self. It would go, and I mean, the energy would just go rush through me. I would feel it completely. We're all going through a lot of things right now, so don't be too hard on anybody. Don't be too hard on anybody at all. You know, don't, especially yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Don't judge yourself. It is what it is. It's only energy. It's not personal. You know, what's happened. Let's move on. Let's continue. Let's get back to a powerful co-creator space while we're in the vortex. Because that's where we're meant to be. That's where we're in alignment with our true selves, where we're being true to ourselves and honoring ourselves. Is when we're in the vortex. Right now, I'm in the vortex. I'm freaking vibrating from head to toe right now, and it feels delicious. And I got bugs all over me, but it's okay. You know, and yesterday is the second I shifted out of it. Now, I keep getting pulled back into these thoughts. It's like my ego is like, no, this isn't right. You know, you gotta run away now. This is when you run away usually. You know, every time before you ran away, now it's time. Let's go. Let's get it going. So it's like I had that feeling, and then I fight it, and then I'm like, I'm feeding so much more energy into unnaturally fighting it, you know, and I think that may have came across a little intense, but that's me. I can be intense because I want to talk about my feelings. It's not anything that I'm doing wrong, not my opinion. I was for the past couple of days, I've really been harping on that. There's something I did wrong, that this person doesn't like me being this way. And then I was thinking, well, then this person doesn't like me for me. This person really doesn't understand or really like me, you know? And like, why am I thinking all these thoughts? It's not in alignment with the vortex. It is what it is. What happened has happened. How you felt is how you felt. How I felt is how I felt. It's not my fault. It's not your fault. It's just energy. The only fault that I can see here is a lack of clear communication. And this goes for every relationship I've ever had in my life with anybody. You gotta set boundaries and be a clear, open communicator. Because if you can't communicate your feelings and emotions and preface your statements of how you're thinking, then you should probably work on that. So what I started doing yesterday was writing in my journal and blessing everybody that's done me wrong in my life. And it's quite a list. I didn't go all the way into just like the top 4 people, you know. It's the ones that's had really negative effect on my previous life that I'm healing from, that I've cut the cords from that life. You know, I've cut all the energetic cords. Like, you're no longer affecting my reality. And I've done a lot of healing so far, but there's certain core issues that I can tell haven't fully been dealt with, and may take a very long time to fully deal with, because you deal with certain aspects as they come up, as your body brings them up, as your higher self brings them up. You deal with those, you sit with those, you feel that pain. But a lot of these are entire lifetime of abuse, and I've forgiven this person for, but there's been abuse that I can't even think of. It's so deep, so as it comes up, I get triggered and I forgive, and now I started blessing them. So I bless you for hurting me. I bless you for wronging me, for stabbing me in the back, for whatever. I bless you. And in that moment, when I started doing that, is when I started shifting back into my vortex, into the field, because I felt like I got out of it. And so when you bless that person, it opens up in your mind for that second of blessing and gratitude, and you can replace that hurtful feeling with something else. And I started doing this exercise before realizing that it was doing that. And as soon as I hey buddy, see that fly? Before I was realizing how I was replacing that hurt feeling with something else. And that's what shifted me back into the vortex. I mean, that really, really helped me yesterday. And I'm really seeing things in a new light, and I really want to talk to this person. But it's like, this person's also healing, and I want to give that person their space. Because that's what they asked for, and I got to respect that. Doesn't mean I have to like it, but so don't be too hard on anybody, guys. I mean, everybody, especially those on this path and with these energy waves that are coming through, and this new moon and the full moon coming up, like, there's a lot of intense purging going on. A lot of intense purging. And everybody handles that in different ways. So if you're going through this and you're talking to the people you're close to, be clear about it. Be clear as, I feel this way. No, I don't want to talk about it. Or can we talk about this? Maybe that's what I should start doing. I'm like, hey, can we talk about this? Instead of unloading all my emotions onto somebody who may not be ready or willing to listen to that. But that's also in their responsibility, if they don't want to hear that, to then address me in that fashion. That doesn't resonate with me right now, or I'm not in a good place to talk about that. Maybe not, So it's all about knowing what you want, what you don't want. Well, if you know what you don't want, then you can discern what you want. And then I feel it's learning how to communicate that, how to tell other people what you want or don't want. Something keeps like landing on my nose, on my face. And then you can discern what you want or don't want. Because like for me, I've learned what I don't want. I've learned what doesn't work. I've done what doesn't work my entire life. So now I want to do something new. And it's, it's a learning experience for me too. I don't have all the answers. It's a very touch and go, learn as you go, I'm very fortunate to have a really good, like, core group of friends that are aware and conscious of what's going on here, of this ascension. Because I can talk to them about it. I can bounce ideas off of them. And they'll call me out if I'm being a dick, Which there's a couple times where I really did. I wanted to be a dick, And that's like, I'm getting to that energy. So what was I feeling at that moment that person was mirroring that to me? So what What is that showing me about myself? So when I'm faced with the conflict, or I'm faced with a mirrored objection, yeah, I guess we can call it that. What is the universe trying to teach me? What is my higher self trying to teach me? What is the lesson for this? These things don't happen for no reason. I mean, other than you are manifesting them, and it's the law of attraction, and you will manifest either good or not so good things. It's whatever you put out there, as you get more back. So I'm putting out love, that I love you, love and compassion, and I want to help. And you got to be clear, verbally clear. People can't read your mind. And if you think they can, then still be verbally clear, because there could be a miscommunication in their mind reading. So I never understood that. You just expect me to do it. But, you know, at the same time, it's like we have expectations, and we expect people to do certain things. And then the attachment to that expectation is what sets us up for disappointment. Why do we expect someone else to do anything in particular? I'm feeling like we should expect people to keep their word, and if they change it, to communicate. This all goes to communication. So if you make a word and you can't live up to it, or something changes, something happens, then communicate it. Like I feel like a lot of communication the last 2 weeks has been a lot of old energy, fear, lack, fear, you know? And I was responsible for that. You're responsible for everything. So I was 100% responsible. And whoever else I was talking to that was involved in that level of conscious communication was also responsible for that too. We manifest everything. Everything. It was 24/24 when I looked at the camera. When I said we manifest everything. That's great. So this message has been very sporadic and all over the place. I hope it makes sense. And I'm getting swarmed with bugs, so I'm getting out of here. All right, love you guys. Be the change that you want to see in this world. And love yourself. And communicate clearly with yourself, and be honest with yourself too. So if you're not honest with yourself, then how are you going to be honest with somebody else?